Hi everyone. In this demo of CloudGuard Network Security for Azure Virtual WAN, we're going to be covering applying zero trust threat prevention policies to your deployment. Some prerequisites and some prior knowledge that'll be helpful as you go through this will be, in general, the integration steps and what's involved in that. And you can find those videos in YouTube as well as in the description of this video itself. We cover onboarding, we cover some use case examples, and then a remote access VPN video, as well as a zero trust video around access control. And you will see us describe the differences between the two. Hope this helps. Take care. All right, let's get started. So first things first, just this is going to be partly a review. Even the threat prevention piece may be review for some of you, but as we mentioned in the previous demo and webinar, we were focused on zero trust and in regards to the access control policy. In this session, we're going to be talking about zero trust threat prevention and the threat prevention policy within the checkpoint world. So, but to start off, just to lay the groundwork, we are working off of a base CloudGuard network security integration with virtual WAN, and that is already configured in my lab. This will be the same one that we used in the previous sessions. So we'll just walk through that again real quick. Take a look at the virtual WAN configuration. Just review that the virtual network connections are still up and running and live and connected. And there they are. I have the 3 different VNets. My prod, dev, and HR VNets connected into the hub. If I go over to the hub properties, you will see my NVA configuration, and those are already attached to my security management server. If this is all new to you, please go back and review the other videos that we've done. They should be located in the description of the YouTube video once that's posted as well. If we back off, then go to the routing content and routing policies property configuration section, you will see that we have this configured already as well, that we're sending our traffic to our NVA for both internet and private traffic. So all of our internal networks are also going through the CloudGuard network security gateways. And so now that that's all set, so now that we have that validated, we can go over and take a look at the threat prevention policy itself. So as mentioned before, and actually I'll jump back real quick to where I just was. If you look inside of each individual gateway's properties, there's a couple of tabs or a few tabs here. Network security is related to the access control section that we talked about in the last session, where you enable firewall, API control, URL filtering, identity awareness, content awareness, etc. Threat prevention is much simpler if you want it to be. We've added the new capability called autonomous threat prevention, where we are enabling, based on your feedback, the proper security controls that you want to have in place. If you want to do a customized configuration and are licensed for it, you can still do that. Just do custom and select the correct or the features that you want. But in our case for today, we're going to show off autonomous threat prevention, since you are in best practice, unless you know exactly what you're looking for and want full control, autonomous threat prevention provides you the security blanket that Checkpoint has got your best and is the expert, and we are helping manage and maintain your security posture from a threat prevention standpoint. So just to review, if we go into security policies, access control, once again, is where you are defining a policy based on your organization's requirements and HR policies, et cetera. What's acceptable to your environment. Checkpoint really can't tell you what to put in here. We can give you some guidance and some best practices or what we feel is correct, but each organization is going to have their own ideas or own requirements for what that has to be. And as you saw in that previous session, we gave you quite a few different things to consider and what's possible. In the case of threat prevention, it actually is a bit easier in that regard. So if we go over to the threat prevention side, so on the left-hand side, you see access control, but then also threat prevention. If I go into autonomous policy under threat prevention, you will see that you are given some profile choices. And the current profile, as you would expect, is simply cloud data center. And having that profile selected enables these features because these are relevant. So if I hit the drop down, you'll see some additional options for you if you so choose. So this is something that you can select depending on the configuration, for other places. So in our case, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to use cloud data center, but you could use perimeter, for example, if you wanted to, or if it's purely an isolated network in the cloud, you could do internal network and it would configure it appropriately. So that's the beauty. So you don't have to worry about all the nuances and customizations required to get the best configuration. We do that for you, which is pretty slick. So once you have that set, now you're pretty much ready to go. And we'll use the custom policy to kind of help guide or help show you what's included in all of this, because we kind of use different terminology when we talk about the technologies versus what we call them in the customized or policy. So the first one to start off with, which a lot of you are probably fully aware of, is IPS. And so Checkpoint's IPS is well known, extremely well proven in third-party testing. We cover all the CVs you can imagine, I'm sure, and then some, even ones that are unpublished. You'll see the first thing you can do if you saw what I did there, I went to custom policy, then I simply went down here on the left-hand side to IPS protections. And this lists out every IPS protection we have available to apply to your environment. Some of the cool things that you can do inside of here, and then things to see, the descriptions and the protection names are very clear of what they're covering, and the CVEs are very clear, and the way the columns are updated are very straightforward. So you have an update date, a release date. We have 3 different metrics or ways of categorizing the protections, which makes a big difference when you're trying to determine performance versus security, or the combination of the two. And with the autonomous threat prevention configuration, we're doing that for you. We're helping you make that calculation automatically. Performance impact, severity, and confidence level. Pretty straightforward. You can also search by whatever you're looking for. So for example, WordPress is pretty popular. Just simply type in WordPress and you will see all of the WordPress protections available within the environment. On the right hand side, you'll see these filters that are built in that automatically update as soon as you make different choices. If you want to see different things, you can select them from the list. There's all the Cisco iOS and some Apple iOS stuff in there too. So I have a Bastion host set up to connect into one of the Windows machines, or my Windows machine in one of my VNets, to do a test to see if my configuration is correctly blocking it. It's obviously it's a test, so it's a simulation, but it's kind of a cool thing. You can feel free to try it in your own environments. It's just cpcheckme.com is the website. And we'll give that a run. It'll likely give me a CAPTCHA of some sort. There's my CAPTCHA. All right, so it's going to attempt a malware infection, connection to command and control, the 0 day, which we'll see if it actually shows up as a 0 day in the logs, use of anonymizer, and then usually data leakage does fail. Either way, you can see that our configuration, without a lot of massaging or any really configuration or customization is automatically blocking the things it should be doing, which is the way it's supposed to be, and it makes your life easier. So you're combining the ease of virtual WAN networking and configuration with the ease of configuring your threat prevention policy with our autonomous policy configuration, and you are up and running and protected almost immediately in your environments. So after that's run, we can take a look at our management server and then the logs. So we'll take a look at that. We should see an entry for pretty much every single one of these. So this first one here is that malware infection, and actually IPS caught that one. Then the command and control blocked by antibot. The 0-day actually got grabbed by antivirus because it's so we automatically generate new files for the 0-day test, and so in this case it's already been out there in the wild, so it gets added to the database automatically and gets seen as a known malicious file, and so it's going to get caught by antivirus instead of going through threat emulation again. And then the next one is the browser exploit being once again blocked by IPS, and then the anonymizer being blocked as well. I think that's this one here. Yeah, here's the anonymizer. This one's actually being grabbed by URL filtering. So, combination of different features and functions, all in conjunction, working together to protect your systems and environments from infection. One thing I wanted to point out is the quality of the logs. And if you're been a Checkpoint customer for a long time, this is nothing new for you. But for those of you that aren't as familiar, the proof's in the pudding, basically. If you open up one of these entries and compare them to other things that you have, other logs that you use in your day-to-day life, there's a reason why a lot of other people in IT come to the Checkpoint guys for logs, for information and for troubleshooting, because the log detail and quality and information and how it's laid out is second to none, in my opinion. And coming from personal experience as a former customer, I can attest to that. One thing I also wanted to point out today, so the logs are great and everything in and of themselves, and you can do they're super powerful. And I've actually done some pre-filtering on this particular log tab, and everything in here is right-clickable, so you can create filters. You can say remove all the antivirus items from this list, to create reduce the noise. I'm going to remove all the HTTPS inspection logs from this list, and that happens automatically. Something else that I hid by default is it automatically calculates top sources, destinations, services, actions, blades, etc. for you, which is pretty cool. And you can click on these, and these automatically get added to your filter list. And then another thing real quick, and just, I know we could spend honestly probably hours just in here navigating through different pieces, but one technology that we don't talk about a lot and probably should do more of, that's an optional add-on for management, is something we call Smart Event. And Smart Event is essentially Checkpoint's built-in SIM. It's not a replacement for your Splunk, for your QRadar, for whatever you use for a SIM, if you use a SIM. But for all things Checkpoint, if you use Smart Event out of the box, it provides a bunch of pre-built views and reports that you can use. And here's the out of the box list of views that you can grab. There's a preview on the right hand side. I'm going to grab the threat prevention one. Opens up a new tab. By default, it's going to give you these views. You can actually create your own views and customize them as you see fit. The default's the last 24 hours. You can adjust that to whatever you want. Each of these are clickable, so you can dive in and get to the raw log if you want to. So, for example, I'll just jump into this one. Gets me one level lower. Double click again, and it'll get me to the raw log. If I back out again real quick, some other really slick views or built-in views, and I've already had it preloaded, is a MITRE ATT&CK view. I'll refresh this to make sure it's up to date, and it categorizes all of the different threats that have come in based on the MITRE ATT&CK framework. And so you can, once again, double click on those. Got a timeline, got your sources, get to the raw log, and see what's going on. This one actually gave us a packet capture that we can use. You can see the actual attack that was attempted to a certain extent, and all kinds of additional information. So a very, very powerful tool. And I'll jump back one more step just to show you. We'll go back to this part and reports. So you also have similar fashion for reporting, and you can send those, export those to PDF, have those sent off via email on a regular basis if you want to, but they're very detailed in and of themselves. So something else to consider as you're building out your environments, and another tool to use. So bottom line, that's pretty much it for this demo. What we really wanted to illustrate is the combination of the ease of configuring your Azure environments with virtual WAN, but then also adding on top the simple deployment of Checkpoint CloudGuard network security on top. And then not only that, but the configuration of that and the policies and the possibilities that you can do within that world, and to protect your environments and very, very quickly and easily. So hope this was helpful. Appreciate your time. Please let us know what you want to see in the future, and we will talk to you on the next one. Thank you.